Wow, so what a pain in the keister this guy's been. I kind of skipped, I missed a little bit. Take the drive shafts out for the carrier bearing. That's what we're doing here. And let me tell you, this bolt was a pain in the butt, and I finally got it. But I mainly wanted to make the video because you're gonna think that it's, you know, like reverse thread because of how hard it is. I mean, I don't have impact, but it's a 33 millimeter socket. And then, yeah, I used a 1/2-inch drive, and I literally used the bar from my jack. I mean, I don't know how long it is, but it's, you know, it's pretty long. And definitely pushed downward because I made a mistake and I pulled upwards and literally cracked the wood on my bench. So trying to keep the swearing down because a lot of people complaining on there. So anyway, I'm going to continue working on. I still need this bar to loosen this. I've gotten quite a few threads, but still. It's like an axle nut. It makes sense, I guess. No, I should probably try and get the socket off before. There we go. Now I'm going to have to use my puller, which I hope it's long enough. Look at that bolt, man. It's insane. Take that out, huh? Look at that bad boy. Gotta get some better lighting in here. Alright, so I've got the puller put together. This puller's from Advanced Auto Parts. I was gonna go to, what's it called, Harbor Freight, but I was already stopping there anyway for the socket, so they weren't bad. I think they were $21, whereas Harbor Freight was about the same price. So saves the trip there. But looks like we may have a puller setup that works. Wow, that thing came right out. Now the fun part. This bad boy here. You can see beforehand, you know, it moves on this, you know, which is supposed to give a little bit, but I can feel a pretty solid, you know, give to it. So we will, what's it called? We will see how this works. Of course, camera wasn't recording, but when a little Abe kind of started to get this thing off using the puller. I honestly don't know if I'm going to have enough room with this puller to be able to really get this thing off. It's not looking so hot as of now. Oh yeah, never mind. It'll fit. So that way while you're watching this, you can run out and get yourself a bigger puller. Look at that. Beauties. Watch it just be a warped rotor after all this work. And money. It cost me $50 for that socket and just the just the socket and the puller. I had a bolt type puller, not a, you know, this type puller. You know, honestly, this rubber's pretty chewed up around here. Like, you know, it doesn't seem bad, but I had a squeaking coming from the carrier bearing. And it's smooth. Oh yeah, but there's play in there and there's not supposed to be. I doubt the camera will pick that up, but we can zoom in. Could test out this the quality of this. See if you can see any play in that, but there's just a little bit, but actually, I mean, it rolls all right. It doesn't roll great, but that was the other thing. It felt like I had, you know, an emergency brake on because of the way that it was, you know, it's, you know, obviously it should have a lot more range than that. But, let's see. Oh yeah, definitely overshot this. Well, luckily, looks like we'll be good to go. I'm actually surprised at how easily this is coming off. Alright, so now I'm going to go over how, you know, you've got your carrier bearing out, now you've got your new one. Like I said, traditionally there's two different sizes. You've got 35mm and 40mm. Now I work in a machine shop, so I'm familiar with the Dow caliper. I use them. I just happen to have a cheap shitty one from Harbor Freight. However, what I'm going to do here, I mean, you could go to the parts store, but again, I mean, I'm not being disrespectful, but more of the time, more or less, they're inaccurate, and they really don't really care. They just kind of do sloppy. So if we look at here, we're going to measure the inside diameter, which is how it specifies it. So now we're getting on here. Oh, wow, I hope I'm in the camera range. I'm getting 571. Well, 1.571. So now, what I like to do, because that's really all I work in, go right in here, we punch in 1.571, which I know 0.58 is going to be correct, but you can see now, wow, I really can't see the screen. We're looking at 39mm, so that obviously equates to 40. So, you know, you've got your 35 and then your 40mm. So that's a nice little way that I like to kind of just test it at home myself beforehand. Again, I mean, you could easily just trust them, but like I said, I've had to go home numerous times just to find out that I was sold the wrong part and then have to go back to the store. So just a little tip. Alright, so we've got the new part. It's hiding under here. Had to kind of fish and dig to find it, but we got her. There she is. And I kind of got to clarify the inner diameter. Obviously is very important, but I converted it to millimeters. But on the website, at least I know AutoZone, you know, for example, they did have what's it called? They did have it in inches, so you know that's kind of, you know, it's good to know. But the rest of it, I mean, yeah, the parts seem pretty identical. Everything seems like it's going to be good. You know, I'm just hoping and praying that this is definitely my problem. I mean, I can already feel in this bear. I mean, there's no play at all. Alright, I found me a big old pipe. This should work. Yeah, just misses it. I'm sure in a perfect world you would just use your nice little shop press. Ruh-roh. That's a problem. And if you had a buddy, make it a lot easier too. Just for a little bit of it. Just trying not to ruin the bearing because I'm kind of pushing on the inside of it, and there's a little taper in there. Yeah, that feels beautiful. And once you snug down that bolt, just put this guy back on too. Which I did not do this, but I would, if I were you, take note of the way, the orientation. If you can make a line, which, you know, I would do that for your drive shaft too. I've never done that. I've never had a problem, but again, I'm sure I will soon. But what's it called? Uh-oh. Oh, that's right, this is pressed on too. I was like, this isn't fitting. There we go, hammer. On my prettier mallet. Maybe this will. There we go. Trying to see if there's clearance. If I get in there and tighten that bolt and everything doesn't snug right up, then or you know, I can't see it move, or if it does, I'll be able to tell whether or not I did this correctly. Everything on it feels pretty good. This little piece is separate, so it's gonna feel a little floppy, but everything on there really does feel pretty solid. The bearing feels nice and smooth for a $20 AutoZone bearing. Hey there. So, having ADHD, living a busy life, and trying to keep content to point is extremely difficult. But we're managing, just barely. So, where we left off in that video, I was tightening the nut. I think the camera died, so I didn't record anymore. However, we're good to go. I mean, I put it on. From that point, all you gotta do is you take your U-joint with your little caps. I needed a new U-joint, and I replaced it anyway. New U-joint, put it back on the truck, and I mean, I didn't mark anything. I don't think it went in the same way that it came out, and it's good to go. I mean, that was definitely the cause of my vibration. I got a little tiny, small vibration, but I got, you know, these big stupid mud terrain off-road tires, just because I can't find any all-terrains or normal tires. So either way, I hope it was helpful. I hope that you know, even if that wasn't your problem and you wanted to see how to get it done and how to do it and what it entailed, I hope that was useful. You know, and that indeed, you know, it's not a right-hand thread, or I mean a left-hand thread. It's the correct lefty-loosey, rightsy-tightsy. And that it's just a very simple mechanical job. There's really nothing to it. So, hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more shenanigans.